Today we're going to talk about the brain and intracranial pressure. The skull has three components that include the brain, blood vessels, and cerebral spinal fluid. Got it? Those three components of the skull are dictated by something called the Monroe-Kelly hypothesis, which states because of the limited space for expansion within the skull, an increase in any one of the components causes a change in the volume of the others. Think of the skull as a box that has a brain, cerebral spinal fluid, and blood vessels in it. If the brain, for any reason, starts to swell, then something has to leave the box. In this case, maybe blood. So what happens when there's decreased perfusion to the brain? Well, carbon dioxide levels begin to increase. But how does that affect the brain? As CO2 begins to rise, vasodilation can occur. If you give the patient oxygen, their CO2 levels will begin to decrease, which will then lead to vasoconstriction. But why is vasoconstriction a good thing in this case? Well, if the blood vessels get smaller, the brain has room to expand as it swells, which prevents it from being forced down into the vertebral column, causing herniation. You may be wondering, what causes increased intracranial pressure? Well, brain tumors, brain hemorrhage, infections, and head injuries are all causes of increased intracranial pressure. Stay tuned for my next video on how nurses take care of patients with increased intracranial pressure. See you soon!